Hey there Luma, this is the brick wall stitch pattern and I'm Denise from LoomaHat.com. Super excited to bring you this super elegant and very textured pattern that is not 100% reversible, but personally I think it looks very good. The texture is amazing on this reverse side and it has those little dashes which makes it look a little quirky, but personally I like it for a scarf or a blanket. Now I want to give you the heads up that this is a stitch pattern only video, so I will not be showing you how to do cast on or cast off, but I'll tell you what I did for my swatch. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. So for my swatch, or my sample in other words, I put a 3-peg edge here, which is not part of the pattern. The pattern actually starts here and it has a multiple of 6, so you need 6 pegs in order to complete the pattern. And those 6 stitches, I repeated them a total of 4 times. I repeat that stitch pattern, and then I put another 3-stitch edge, which again is not part of the pattern. I just did it to balance out my stitch, and I wanted to show you what it looks like before the stitches are stretched out and blocked. They look really funky, so don't panic as you knit that the fabric doesn't look like mine. Now we're ready for rows 1 and 2, and they're super easy. All you're gonna do is knit the row in color A. So for that first color I chose white, and I'm gonna start with that first peg, which is my edge. And when I knit off, it's a little loose because I'm going from one color to the other, so make sure to tighten that first stitch when you change from one color to the next. Now here is my actual stitch pattern, and again all I'm going to do is knit. In this direction I like to use the flat version of the knit stitch, and so I lay my working yarn over a couple of pegs and take the bottom loop over the top. And this next peg here looks a little funny because this is where I did my slip with one in back. Don't worry about that. Now I'm going to show you. Super easy to do, nothing to panic about. For now, let's focus on rows 1 and 2, and all you're going to do, like I said, is to knit that row. Now whatever stitch you picked for your edge, you're going to do those stitches, and then for your stitch pattern itself, again just knitting. You can use the U-wrap version of the knit stitch or the true version. Any one of those will work fine. Now here I'm going to turn around and go in the opposite direction, and in this direction I like to use the U-wrap, where you half wrap and knit off. And on this video we're only doing the flat version. For the in the round version you need the written instruction, and for that you can go to LoomaHat.com. Once you're done with those 2 rows of knit stitches, you're ready for row 3, and here we're going to knit 2, slip 1 with yarn in back, and then knit 3. A lot easier than it sounds. You're not going to believe how easy this is. Okay, so my first 3 again are part of my edge. See how it's loose, that first peg? I wanted you to see that. Make sure to tighten that first peg, and then we're going to do those 2 knit stitches. Again in this direction I like the flat version, so I place my working yarn over the existing loop, take the bottom over the top, and knit off. And now for that slip 1 with yarn in back, right, we did those 2 knit stitches. Now you take the working yarn and all you're going to do is put it behind the peg, and basically you're just skipping that peg. You put the yarn behind it and you don't do anything. You're now going to knit the next 3 pegs. So again I put my yarn over the existing loop, and I take the bottom loop over the top, knit off. That's it. Those are those 6, and I'm going to repeat it again right here because I'm repeating mine 4 times. And so I knit 2, then take my yarn behind peg 3 of that row, and don't do anything else. I just knit the next 3 pegs. It's that simple. And here you can see that slip with yarn in back. You can easily see what it looks like. All right, now we're ready for row 4. And now for row 4, you're going to purl 3, slip 1 with yarn and back, and then purl 2. Super easy, don't panic. Purling is easy. So there are my 3 stitch edge, which is not part of the pattern. We're going to start with the 6 stitch pattern itself. So we're going to first purl, take the working yarn, put it under the existing loop with the hook on top, scoop up and create a new loop. You're going to take the old loop that's on the peg off the peg and put the new loop you just made on and tighten. Again, from the top, take your hook and scoop up and create a new one. Take the old one off, put the new one on and pull. And here's that 3rd purl stitch. You're done, and now you're going to slip 1 with yarn and back. So again, you just take that working yarn, put it behind the peg, and then come over and you're going to do 2 more purl stitches, and that's your 6 stitch pattern. Okay, remember we're going in the other direction now. All right, I'm going to do it one more time. Those are the 6. Let's repeat, and we're going to do again 2 purl stitches. I'm sorry, 3 purl stitches. So here's purl number 2. I'm doing that 3rd, and then we're gonna slip with yarn in back. So just take that working yarn, you're gonna put it behind the peg and come forward. That's it, that one's done. You're gonna do 2 more purl stitches, and that's the end of row 4, right? You're gonna repeat it as many times as you need to for your pattern. And once you've done that row, now you're ready for row 5. And for row 5, what you will be doing is you're going to purl 2, slip 1 with yarn in back, and purl 3. And at this point, you guys are expert with all these stitches, including the purl, the slip, and the knit. So let's do row 5. I need to stop real quickly and state a correction. For those of you with low vision, I do apologize. As of row 3, we changed colors to color B, whatever that is of your choice. In my case, it is orange. So rows up to now, rows 3, 4, and 5, and we will continue with color B until row 7. So for row 5 now, we're going to do those 2 purl stitches again after my edge. Here's 1, here's 2, and then we're going to do the slip 1 with yarn in back. So just take your yarn, put it behind the peg, and then come forward, place the yarn under the existing loop, and we're going to do those 3 purl stitches. Here's my first, second, and then I'm going to do 1 more, which is that 3rd, and then you're going to repeat those 6 stitches as many times as is necessary for your project. And then you're ready for, of course, row 6. And for row 6, which is the opposite of 5, we're going to purl 3, slip 1 with yarn in back, and then do 2 purl stitches. So again, after your edge, after my edge, I'm doing 3 purl stitches. So you guys know how to purl. You put the yarn under, create a new loop, take the old one off, put the new one on, and pull to tighten. Please remember to tighten your stitch, that's important. And then slip 1 with yarn in back, and then 2 purl stitches. Guys, remember that this is the flat version of this pattern, and if you want the in the round for like a hat or socks, you will need to go to LoomaHat.store to get the pattern. All right, let's go on to row 7, and here, like I said before, we're going to flip colors. We're going to do now with color A 2 rows of knit stitches, row 7 and row 8. So grab your color A, in my case it's white. I'm going to go ahead and knit that first stitch. Remember that it's kind of loose because you're swapping colors, so make sure to tighten your stitch nice, and then go ahead and start knitting. Again, I have a simple 3 stitch edge whatever you are using, you could go ahead, switch colors, and then do your edge, and then just do knit stitches straight across for both rows 7 and 8. You're doing them in that color A, that in my case is white. When you're done with rows 7 and 8, you're going to then work on row 9, and for row 9, now you're going to switch colors again. You're going to now use color B, which in my case is that orange color. Remember to, again, tighten that first stitch when you switch over. Now for row 9, we're going to do 5 knit stitches, and then we're going to slip one with yarn in back. And what I want you to notice is different about this row is that your slip with yarn in back is the last stitch, right? There's 6 stitches, and that's stitch number 6. The yarn is basically floating in the back. It's loose and it needs to be anchored. In this case, I'm repeating the stitch pattern, and so it anchors when I start the stitch pattern over those 5 knit stitches. But what I want you to note is that, say this was your last repeat, what is going to happen with that last stitch, which is with yarn in back, right? You slipped here, those 5, and now I'm going to slip with yarn in back, which means, like I'm saying, that yarn is loose. It needs to be anchored. So you would be doing that like I did with my edge. In my case, it's those 3 knit stitches. So after I slip with one in back, then I'm going to do my edge, and my edge will anchor that loose yarn. Then you're ready for row 10, where you're going to start with a slip one with yarn in back and then purl 5. So I have my 3 knit stitches, my edge, and then I'm going to slip, and now I'm going to purl the next 5 stitches. Again, for row 10, you're going to slip one with yarn in back and then purl 5. And as always, you're going to repeat those 6 stitches as necessary for your pattern. You're then ready for row 11. And for row 11, well, we flip it, and now we're going to purl 5 and then slip one with yarn in back. So you're going to, again, do your edge and then purl 5 stitches. And there's 2, 3, 4, and here's my 5th, and then I slip one with yarn in back. Again, it's a floating stitch, no problem. I have an edge for my last repeat. And for row 12, which is your last row, you're going to slip one and then purl 5, which is the opposite. So here I am, I did my edge, and then I'm going to slip one and then purl 5. These 12 rows, you're going to repeat as many times as is necessary for your project. You just keep repeating it and repeating it, right? That's going to give you length. And there you go. Those are the 12. And then I want to suggest, because you could see how odd the fabric looks. This is before I've done anything. I just knit my fabric, and then it looks kind of puffy. It looks very strange. You could see the white, but you don't see the stripes, the middle part of it. You have to stretch those stitches. So pull top to bottom. You're stretching the stitches, and then to make things even neater, your best bet is to either steam block or wet block. I have a video for steam block. I'll put a link in the description. And Kristen for Good Knit Kisses has a great one for wet blocking. All right, guys, if you like the video, please make sure that you share it, because that helps me a whole lot. And I will suggest that you not only subscribe, but that you go to LoomaHat.store and you sign up for the newsletter. You'll get great discounts, sometimes free stuff, and you'll always know when I have a video, because I always announce the videos in the newsletter. All right, till next time, here are some suggestions for YouTube of videos they think you're gonna like. Go ahead and watch them, and until next time, when you come back and loom with me again.